Death Note, despite not being as complex as Hunter x Hunter's Net or Jujutsu Kaisen's Curse Energy, is one of my favorite power systems in Shounen. The combination of its simplicity and limitation makes the battle between Light and L that much better, and ultimately makes me like the power system that much more. So let me explain how it does that. The power system in Death Note is basically that the user of the Death Note could kill anyone if they write their name into the book. There are a series of rules that explain how the Death Note can be used and how it interacts with the world, such as how you need a face to kill, and you lose the memory of the Death Note if you give up ownership. The straightforward nature of these rules means the series doesn't have to waste time on long exposition dumps, and just tells us rules either when it's relevant to the plot, or at the end of each chapter. This is important because Death Note is a hard magic system where the rules are hammered out, and the appeal of hard magic systems comes from seeing how it is used. So it gives author Oba freedom to create and solve problems using mechanics of the Death Note. For us viewers, it gives us the option of either going over the rules of the Death Note and speculating how Light will use them, or sit back and enjoy when the series explains what convoluted plan Light came up with. And the enjoyment from watching Light's convoluted plans are increased because of how limited the Death Note is. Because Light needs a name and a face, and he can't make his victims do the impossible or make them kill on his behalf, it makes him simultaneously the most powerful person in human history and as vulnerable as your average person. He could kill hundreds in a couple of minutes, but strain every brain cell to kill Naomi Misora because he doesn't know her name. This makes the battle between Light and L that much more interesting, as despite Light having the Death Note, he is constantly on the defensive. By keeping his name hidden and later using the alias Hideki Ryuga, L is freely able to humiliate Light on national TV, question him, violate his privacy, and detain him. And Light is forced to use the rules of the Death Note and his own wits to wiggle out of each of these situations. L sends Ray Penber to stalk Light, and Light uses the fact that he could control his victim before death to figure out Ray Penber's name, blackmail him to figure out the other FBI agents' names before killing them all. L installs cameras all over Light's house, and Light starts writing names of criminals away from home to die on future dates, and uses his own skills to simultaneously kill people and study, producing one of the best scenes in anime. And since Light doesn't know L's name, they are freely able to interact and subtly question each other, adding another layer to every scene. The Shinigami eyes are a perfect example of balancing out overpowered ability with high costs. Light could just learn L's name instantly through the Shinigami's eye, but he doesn't do it because he doesn't want to give up half his lifespan. And from that we learn about Light's god complex, and his desire to purge the world of humans he deems evil, and create a new world that he can rule over for the rest of his life. But Death Note's power system does have a massive flaw, and that is it's too simple. It can only do one thing, which is kill humans. And since the story of Death Note revolves entirely around its power system, it's constantly at the risk of becoming stale. How many times can Light find a creative way to kill before it gets repetitive? This forces the story to constantly attempt to add elements to keep it fresh. The addition of Misa's Shinigami eyes and Light losing his memories are the best example. The former is an agent of chaos and helps to break the stalemate between Light and L by giving them both an out. Light could leverage Misa's Shinigami eyes to win, and L could leverage her stupidity. And the latter allows us to get a look at what kind of person Light would be if he never got the Death Note and see just how much he's been corrupted. While these are examples of the series changing things up for the better, these flaws eventually caught up with the series in part 2. As what can you do with a Death Note that the first part didn't do? The second part attempts to change it up by giving Light the advantage, and making Nier and Mello the underdogs. But this isn't nearly as captivating as when Light was the underdog, and since Light's intelligence was built up so much, it just makes him seem incompetent. So, overall, Death Note is a top tier power system. Its simplicity, well-defined rules, and limitations make it arguably the best hard magic system in Shounen, and it is one of the best examples of how important limitations are to a power system. But its simplicity works against it at times by preventing it from being as flexible as other power systems such as Nen. But that's all I have to say about this power system, and I'll see you next time.